Hey friends, hope you're enjoying your New Year's Eve. Hope you're planning on ringing the new year somewhere special, wherever it may be. We've got some hot news to discuss for you today before we let you slide on into 2019. But before we do that, and before we get into the ad spot, I just wanted to say thank you everybody who has watched our channel over the last year. You've really allowed us to grow in ways that I didn't think was possible. We've gone from me being in my room to actually having a production team. So Reece, Rikus, come join. Rikus! We're missing a couple people, but we just want to say thank you for a great 2018. We look forward to what we're going to do in 2019. It's all thanks to you guys that you've made it possible for us to not just be lonely gamer people in our bedrooms, but we get to be on the internet now. Okay, you guys can leave. So, with the thank yous being put out of the way, let's talk about the ad spot. Well, hello there. You might notice me at my fancy new desk. But alas, it's not a desk, it's a gaming gear wooden platform. My friends, this thing has revolutionized the look of the office. It has RGB lighting built into it. It syncs with your PC lighting. As you can see, it's synchronizing quite well. It has everything that you could want. It has cable management routing holes. It has shelves for anything that you want to put here, or doubles that as a footrest if you so desire. You can get your PC and your system looking sweet and gorgeous. This is an amazing desk. I love it so much. This is a sponsored spot, but holy crap, this thing is made of high quality wood. It feels pristine, it looks gorgeous, and it comes in a couple different configurations. If you want to wall mount your monitors, they actually have a panel that can be installed here to actually have a wall mount for your monitors on a VESA mount. Or if you just want to go bare budget minimum, you can remove the panel like we did. We don't need it. We just have a whole bunch of stuff on the desk. You can also remove the RGB lighting, but why would you want to do that, my friends? You want to illuminate your room the best way possible. As you can see, it has LED lighting wrapping all the way around through clear acrylic, which looks gorgeous. And we happen to have GGWP #1. So if you're interested in picking yourself up a gaming gear wooden platform, I cannot recommend this thing enough. It is amazing. You can check it out at the link in the video description, ggwpdesks.com. Currently, they are only selling in South Africa. However, they are anticipating getting international shipping set up soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But holy crap, we love this desk. It's amazing. And now I need to remove myself from it, and I'm going back to the set. So check out that desk at the link in the video description. Now let's hippity hop on over into the news. So let's talk about the title, which is PlayStation 5 doing 4K at 240 FPS. And I'm pretty sure most of you are like, nah, bruh, ain't gonna happen. And I agree, but the reason I brought this up is because there are some news articles out there that are discussing this. So this one specifically coming from T3. Incredible PS5 feature set to leave Xbox 2 desperate for Counter-Strike. The PlayStation 5 versus Xbox 2 war just escalated dramatically. I'm not sure how that's possible, especially since the chipsets and the processors and the graphics on the PlayStation are going to be made by the exact same company that makes it for the Xbox. I really don't see that there's going to be a big difference in the power scaling between the two. I'm getting ahead of myself. So the most egregious part of this article is saying, when speaking on the topic of Sony's plans in terms of the next generation of video game consoles, Patrick said, who is a game industry analyst, if you could call him that, he says, I think they will probably have that 4K and 240 FPS device that'll support PSVR. Bullcrap. So not only is the analyst saying stuff that's complete garbage, but then the writer of the article goes on to say, if the PS5 delivers native 4K resolutions while also pushing games out at 240 frames per second, then that would be a truly astounding gaming experience, and unless matched by Microsoft, would leave its flagship Xbox Scarlet console pinned down under heavy generation-winding feature fire. That sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Except for it's not realistic or possible in any way, shape, or form. Unless they're gonna put League of Legends on the PlayStation 5, you're not hitting 240 FPS at 4K in any of these gosh dang games. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is out there, and I just want us to take a moment as we're closing out the year to not really believe everything that's on the internet. We know what the PlayStation 5 should have. It should have some Zen 2 cores, probably up to 8 cores, and then it's gonna have a Navi GPU that will likely be able to handle 4K 60 FPS. Barely any problem. 4K 90, maybe even in some instances, but there's no way it's gonna hit 4K 120 or even 4K 240 like that. Like, Linus just did a video where he has a $5,000 computer with a 9900K and two 2080 Ti's, and he's like barely hitting 240 FPS. at 4K with a $5,000 system, unless somehow Sony has been like just having a contract with TSMC producing some 7nm parts that we know nothing of so that they can bring the price down of a $5,000 system to a $500 console. This is complete hogwash. We should expect something that's capable from the next generation of consoles, something that should be able to do 4K 60, but I mean, the console wars are basically over at this point. It's a content war that's happening right now. Microsoft, yes, the Xbox One X is slightly more powerful, but that's because they released it later and they have the same partner in the hardware from AMD, just like PlayStation has. PlayStation could come out with a console that's as powerful as the Xbox One X, but it didn't make sense for them to do it. They got the early jump on the PS4 Pro. They don't need to update it so it can be slightly faster. Everybody's kind of content with that, especially when Sony's coming out with the better single-player, first-party exclusives. With games like Spider-Man and God of War coming out and everything that Microsoft is putting out is available on the Xbox or the PlayStation, it's a content war at this point. Don't expect that one of these is going to top the other. They're both going to be really great. They're both going to have performance that will rival most mid-tier gaming computers and beat most people's gaming computers at home, if we're being honest. These are probably going to perform better than a GTX 1060, which is the best-selling graphics card of the latest generation. So if it could beat a 1060, it beats most people's gaming computers at home. So I think we have that to look forward to, but the biggest thing that we should be pushing Sony and Microsoft on is not the hardware, because the hardware is competent at this point. We really need them to come out with games, which is something that the Switch is lacking because it doesn't have the most powerful hardware, so there are some limitations as to the games that it could have. But there is a leak or a picture from a French wholesaler showing that The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt might potentially come onto the Switch. Obviously, it could be very easily photoshopped. Reece could whip this up in like 3 minutes. It probably isn't real. So if you see anything about Witcher coming to the Nintendo Switch, it runs like crap on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. So I'm doubting the Switch is gonna do anything. If you guys want better hardware and consoles, look to Nintendo to put it in their system. If we could get a mobile handheld that has something like a 1060 in there, instead of a Maxwell grade Tegra, like they're already 3 generations behind at this point, two generations behind, Pascal and Turing. Gosh dang, Nintendo, step up the game, because we could get Witcher if you just had better hardware. But yeah, we're starting off hot news, talking about the things you shouldn't believe. Yay! Because they're news, they're out there. Don't believe everything you read, folks. With good games though, Steam has released its top-selling and most played games of 2018, which Assassin's Creed Odyssey comes in at the top-selling game. Dota 2 is actually number 2, with CSGO taking a spot in the top 10. Pretty decent right there. However, if we go over to most played, you got Warframe, which is a baller free-to-play game, and then you still have CSGO and Dota 2 in the top 10 of the most purchased and the most played games, which is crazy for games that came out ages ago. Team Fortress 2 is even in there. That's insane. I played that when I was a wee little lad back in high school. When they're talking about most played, they're talking about the games with the highest peak simultaneous players this year, not necessarily a highest average aggregate, but that's pretty impressive. Which games have you been playing the most? Let us know down in the comments. I'm actually curious. What games have you played in 2018 that you've thoroughly enjoyed? I do have to say I've been getting back into Kingdom Hearts, waiting for number 3 to come out, playing it with my sons, and that has held up phenomenally well since it released 16 years ago. Yeah, I'm old. With regards to well-played video games, let's talk about Ninja and his controversy with Twitch. In case you don't know, he's hosting some like big New Year's Eve stream in Times Square with the ball drop and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. It's a mainstream entry into things happening in the real world. People might get invested in video games and esports and streaming and all that. That's not what we're talking about here at all. The issue that most people seem to be having with this story, though, is that not that it's happening, but the advertisement for this stream is taking place on Twitch for other people's stream, and people are getting upset about it because it's a competing stream being advertised on their stream on behalf of Twitch, which is clearly showing favoritism. It's basically saying, hey, go watch Ninja instead of me, even though I might be having a New Year's Eve stream. Ninja has responded to this controversy, saying this event is going to be broadcast to millions of people and continue to grant exposure to Twitch, which in turn allows other streamers to gain more viewers. What's not to like? Or is it just because it's me? I'm not sure trickle-down economics really applies in this situation, especially when people are upset that the advertisement is taking place on Twitch already, which is where viewers are seeing this ad. You're not bringing more people into Twitch by advertising for it on Twitch. That's not what the controversy is. I think Ninja might have realized it since he's thus since deleted his tweets, but it does seem a little preferential by Twitch. But I want to get your opinion on this. What do you think of the Ninja controversy? Do you guys care at all? This is just, it's in the content creator sphere. Like if somebody advertised their video saying, come watch my channel on my videos, then they'd be Ty Lopez. That was a bad joke and I'm sticking with it. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not fresh at the end of the year. Speaking of train wrecks, or car smashes, or whatever it is that Ninja Stream is, Uber has resumed its self-driving cars 9 months after a deadly crash in which one of their vehicles actually hit a pedestrian who was crossing on a highway when they totally shouldn't have been. And any human who was driving in that situation also would have killed that person. But that's neither here nor there. They're bringing it back. Autonomous vehicles seems to be something that is going to happen. Going to take away millions of jobs unless the the industries that will suffer from this protest against it and get it outlawed. But then we would save people's lives if it stays. So I want autonomous cars. I'm off. Ever since that Ty Lopez joke, my brain's not working. Let's move on to the next story. In case you haven't heard, your RGB might be corrupting your computer, and not in the way that it just makes things look like unicorn vomit, but the fact that there have been exploits found in Asus's and Gigabyte's RGB managers and the drivers that they install that might give access to your system when they shouldn't be there. Specifically, the drivers GLCKIO and the Asus Geo drivers, which allow vulnerable stuff for executions. Patch them, get them updated, make sure your RGB safe. Don't go doing unprotected RGB, folks. It's New Year's Eve. You can't have little RGBs running around in 9 months.
That joke is bad.
Oh, I'm a string of bad jokes today. What day is it?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no transition for this. Magic Leap 1, which is a mixed reality headset, you see it right there, goes for thousands of dollars, $2,295 specifically. They have announced that you can now have prescription inserts placed into it so that you can actually see while you're seeing things that aren't real. So in case you want to spend thousands of dollars on your mixed reality headset, you only have to pay $250 from Frames Direct to get your prescription inserts in mixed reality. But this does solve one of the pain points of VR, AR, and all of that kind of stuff, which is usually the goggles have to go on over the glasses, making for an uncomfortable experience, unless you wear contacts, of course. But cool solution, just kind of expensive. This is not going to help adoption rates whatsoever. Speaking of things that are unaffected, astronomers have just discovered Farout, which is the most distant object that has been detected in our solar system, coming in at a whopping 120 astronomical units away from the sun. And in case you don't know, an astronomical unit is the distance between the sun and the Earth. We standardize that. It's not a precise unit of measurement because, you know, there's a perihelion and aphelion and all that kind of stuff, and an aphelia.
Aphelia. It's going red.
It's going terribly. But 120 astronomical units, far out. That's what they named it. Cool. You know what's far out though? EA and their microtransactions. They're coming to Battlefield 5 in January. Prepare yourself. You got company coin, you got Battlefield currency. EA making more money. Yay. Obviously, this game has been riddled in controversy coming from the whole social stuff on the side and then the ray tracing stuff. And now, microtransactions. Good job, EA. You always know what the people want. You know who does know what people want? Netflix sometimes. Black Mirror specifically. In case you didn't know, Bandersnatch, which is their choose your own adventure style video, came out on Friday. We talked about that in the hot news. But the difficulty that people were trying to figure out was like, this replace season 5 of Black Mirror, or is this a standalone thing? Well, we've got confirmation that it is indeed a standalone thing, and that 5th season is still on order, although not with the greatest of news. So in an interview with the New York Times, they said that we're doing more optimistic episodes and stories rather than just dystopian ones and negative ones. That bothers me. The whole reason of Black Mirror is that it's like dark and not like sunshine and raisins.
Raises. Sunshine and raises.
You don't get raises and you don't get no raisins, all right? It works, okay? So that's cool. but I'm not looking forward to the optimistic looking forward nature of their next videos. But in case you have watched Bandersnatch, there is some Easter egg stuff that you can actually play some of the games that they showed off in the show. This is not spoilers, but one of the games is called Nosedive, which is based off of another Black Mirror episode. If you just follow the link in the video description, you can actually play this more like 80s style retro game. And apparently, like, they might even have it for a Commodore emulator. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, in case you're interested in that, link's in the description. And then lastly, speaking of games, Ocarina of Time has been shown off in glorious Unreal Engine 4. And you can take a look. We'll leave a link in the video description for you to watch this video. It looks glorious. I've never played a Zelda game in my life, but it's kind of enticing. And that's gonna wrap it up for Hot News today. As Reece gives me the death stare for not playing Zelda games, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to stick around for 2019. If you guys could help us get to like 180,000 subscribers by 2019, that'd be swell, because we're like a couple hundred off. It'd be amazing. If you can't, we love you anyways. I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel. Don't forget to check out the GGWP desk at the link in the video description. And we'll see you, I want to say next year, but that's a terrible joke, and I've already made so many bad ones. I'll see you in the next video. Love you too.